No, obviously I woke up that morning and I actually thought to myself, like, players go careers and they don't win things. And it was our opportunity to win something.
So, if we start at the beginning, what's your earliest memory of goalkeeping?
I think the earliest memory of goalkeeping was I had two older brothers, and I used to go down the park, and because I was the youngest I had to go in net for their mates, and I was the youngest so I had to go in goal, and just sort of enjoyed diving around in the mud and making saves against people older than me and breaking some hearts.
In terms of when you move through the ranks, League One, Championship, debut at Man United, what have been the biggest kind of learning points at each different stage of that journey?
I think it'd go back to my Stockport loan, to be honest. That was in National League North. I think that was the hardest moment, the transition period of into men's football, and I struggled in that period, in all honesty, and it's probably because I maybe thought I was too good for the level, and then I got a rude awakening when I turned up, and the first game didn't go well, but I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because obviously it builds that mental resilience to come back from it, and you've got to find a way to survive, and ever since then it was such successful loans, so I think I took the learning curves from it and obviously built some momentum.
And has there been a particular level where you've seen the step up in quality or the step up in having to adapt being extremely difficult, extremely perhaps less difficult, or was it more of a kind of linear movement, do you feel, through the divisions?
No, I think obviously the game was so different back then. I think Premier League's become more physical early, and corners and etc. In the last couple seasons, I would suggest, but obviously that set them loans in them periods set you in good stead for the challenges you face today. So yeah, you're always learning, you still keep learning, keep progressing, but it was quite a stable, just I was ready to take the next step. But I think as well, coming with the games, playing regularly, it was just confidence building constantly. You just building blocks to get to that next level, and then again to the next level, and obviously to where I am today.
And you've worked with some incredible managers and also incredible goalkeeper coaches. What have been some of the major lessons that you've taken from those different bosses and coaches, and how have they demanded different things from you as a goalkeeper over the years?
I think you'd more touch on goalkeeping's quite unique, and obviously your goalkeeper department is where you learn the most. Different coaches, different ideas, different strategies, how to deal with different situations, different positions you take up in the goal, and people would think it is just black and white, but it's actually not. There's so many different opinions and so many different things, and you go through periods, you build habits with a coach, and then another coach, your next coach doesn't like them habits, so you've got to reverse them, and you've got to be adaptable. But then ultimately, I think when you get to my sort of age, you sort of find your own way and see what works for you. And then obviously you've got to make sure that's working in the games, and I always want to learn more. I always want to see what different opinions, whether they help me or they don't help me, and then sort of find a happy medium.
In terms of the success you've had, whether it be playoffs, promotion, and obviously the FA Cup more recently, has there been a secret ingredient in either yourself or the club environment when that success has been achieved?
I think it's just togetherness and confidence. I think that's where it comes from, and obviously momentum in football is such a big thing, and something I've noticed over my career certainly is when things are going well, you've got to hold on to that moment, and you've got to just keep rolling out, keep winning games of football. And I remember when we were chasing promotion with Sheffield United, and even the year before with Shrewsbury, it was just like we were in a habit of winning games, and then it becomes easy to win games. But also on the flip side of that is if you're in a moment where you're not winning, it is difficult to turn that around. But obviously that all comes with experience.
If we talk a bit about the FA Cup final, in terms of your approach to that match, both mentally and on the pitch, was there anything particularly different that you felt you were doing to prepare, or was it more so kind of another day in the week that you were just trying to get ready for?
No, obviously I woke up that morning and I actually thought to myself, like, players go careers and they don't win things. and it was our opportunity to win something. So I had a choice that day to make sure it happens. And literally that was my mindset from moment one when I woke up till obviously the end of the game, make it happen. And obviously it was an incredible day for the football club.
I'm just going to hand you this. It's obviously the penalty save in the FA Cup final. Give it a watch and just let us know what you recall of that moment.
Yeah, I remember obviously when the penalty got given. Haaland had the ball in his hands, and then he passed it to Marmoush, and I just thought, yeah, I've got you. I know where you're going. But I knew he hit it hard as well. I know he hit it so hard. He's got one of the hardest reverse shots. So yeah, got to go early. His head will go down. I've got to go early, and then obviously when I went there and I've seen the ball come towards me, I didn't even barely see it. It's just a bit of silver, and it hits off my hand, and then it's just like, get up quick, and then the noise from behind was insane. And yeah, from that moment on, I knew it was going to be our day.
You touched on knowing that the penalty would go to a certain place, be of a certain power.
You don't know.
Well,
you don't know.
There we go.
But of course it's 50-50, but
yeah.
In that key moment, you know how powerful his shot is, the likelihood he's going to reverse it, just because you don't actually know, but it's just that feeling you get, oh, no way he's going to go. Yeah. In that moment I got it, and thankfully it was the right way.
In terms of England, big summer coming up, it must be quite strange switching from, trying to stop your England teammates scoring every week in the Premier League to then going to work with them ahead of a major tournament. How do you kind of mentally switch between those two environments when you go away with the national team?
Yeah, sometimes it's nice, especially maybe when you're been in a long period, lots of games with your club, and that, it's just a nice change of environment, different style of play, how to play, possession based and all this stuff. So yeah, it's good. We've got a good togetherness within the group as well, so hopefully we can build that up until the summer and yeah, see where it takes us.
And obviously you've played through quite a few different age groups with England. How has English goalkeeping changed in that time since you were, say, 16, 17 through to where you are today?
Yeah, I think obviously, ultimately, I think it gets overcomplicated. There's a lot of things that don't need to get so complicated and stuff like that. I think the bread and butter doesn't change. I think when your team's under the pump, the thing that wins your games is the saves and defending the goal. Obviously, it's nice to keep the ball and have live practices constantly and all that, but sometimes doesn't relate to goalkeeping and the feel-good factor of goalkeeping. I think 80% of the game is mental, and because I've stuck between the sticks, I can tell you that, and I think every other goalkeeper would tell you that. And I think sometimes the practices, when they're too live, not real, not feeling the ball, sometimes you don't go into the games feeling like you covered all the bases. But yeah, it's constantly evolving. Whether it's for the better or for the worse, I'm not so sure at this moment. But ultimately, the goalkeeper coaches give you especially in club football, they'll make you feel good, they'll ask you what you want, how it works. It's more of a partnership rather than you do this is how we're working. You've got to build them connections, in my opinion, to make the group so successful.
And then we all know at goalkeeper.com that goalkeepers are unique characters. We all played in goal ourselves. You're an accomplished wicket-keeper away from the pitch by all accounts, have 2 Guinness World Records, I believe, and also have shaved your head for charitable causes. Can you tell us a bit about what makes you tick as an individual away from football, and who the Dean Henderson is away from the pitch? Family man.
Family man. Since I've had the kids, it's just like family comes first, and quite quiet off the pitch really as I've got older. Very mellow, very chilled out, and just enjoy spending time with the kids, making them smile, and making sure I'm present in the moment and getting on the golf course as much as I can as well.
Can we see a return to cricket once you pack your
I don't think so. I think I've lost a love for that. I've lost a love for it. I think I'll be more on the golf course in the future.
And then just to kind of tie it back round to the beginning, when you look back to your first day of your first senior loan at Stockport, what do you wish you had known that you would tell yourself if you could speak to your younger the younger Dean Henderson?
It wasn't so much then. Like, I look back to the time at Man United, and if I knew what I knew now, that was very young. I was very young at that time. But obviously, you feel like you're running out of time, and you need to. Oh yeah, I need it now. I need it now. So that was probably the time where if I had my head on my shoulders now, then things would have been a lot different. But yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for the journey, and sometimes when you take a step back, it's so hard. And I've come across so many goalkeepers that obviously have fell off, and I've come across so many come on trial with my kids, and we're in such a fortunate position to be able to sit where we're sat today. And I think you've ultimately got to enjoy it, because the career goes so fast, and I'm enjoying it here, and I love it. It's incredible. I found a nice home, and yeah, very grateful for that.
Well, Dean, thanks very much for talking to goalkeeper.com.
No problem. Thank you.